A very good evening and welcome to State of Business, our television's primetime business news bulletin. I'm Madhushatava Palakumar. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Local government election to be held on or before February 17. And tourism arrivals expected to increase, states Minister John Amarathunga. Now the stories in detail. Chairman of the Election Commission Mahinda Deshapriya said today that the local government election will be held on or before February 17 next year. He also stated that this government election will cost more than it did in the past, as this is the first time polls are being held for all local government bodies on the same day.
February 17 වෙනිදා හෝ ඒට පෙර ඉරිදා දිනයක් හෝ රජයේ නිවාඩු දිනයක් නොවන දිනයක ඡන්ද විමසියෝ තියෙනවායි කියලා. අද දිනේ මේ සභා 248ේම නාම යෝජනා නිකුත් කිරීමට කිසිදු බාධාවක් නැහැ, නෛතික බාධාවක්. අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කෝටි 300ක් විතර යන අපිට ඡන්දයක් තියන්න. මේට පෙර ඒ ගාන මීට වඩා වැඩි වෙයි. මුළු සියලුම ඡන්ද මධ්‍යස්ථානවල ඡන්ද විසීම හතරට අවසන් වෙලා පස්වරු පහ වෙනකොට ඡන්ද ගණන් කිරීම ආරම්භ වෙනවා. ඒ ලංකා ඉතිහාසයේ ප්‍රථම වතාවටයි. අපි මේ ඡන්දේ සෙනසුරාදා දිනයක තියන්න කියලා අනිවාර්ය නියමයක් නැහැ. රටේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නියෝජනය කරන දේශපාලන පක්ෂ සියල්ලම පහේ අපෙන් ඉල්ලලා තියෙනවා. රටේ ආර්ථිකයට බරපතල හානියක් සතිය දවසකදී. ඒ වගේම ප්‍රයිවට් සෙක්ටර් එකේ සහ ස්වයං රැකියාවල නිරත වෙන අය බොහෝ දෙනෙක් ඡන්ද විසීමෙන්
Addressing the media in Colombo today, Minister of Tourism Development and Christian Religious Affairs John Amarathunga stated that the country is expecting more tourist arrivals in the near future.
Now, the government of Sri Lanka is looking at the tourism industry to be the highest foreign exchange earner for the requirements of the country. That is why in 2016, we recorded the highest number of tourist arrivals in Sri Lanka. It went over 2.1 to 2 million in 2016. And the total income was about 3.5 billion. This year also, we were expecting to have a bigger number than last year, but unfortunately, there were some constraints, as I mentioned, due to the airport closure, then the epidemic, and then also the climatic conditions. However, it has picked up now, and I feel that we may be able to exceed what we achieved last year, and even we would be able to get around 4 billion.
Speaking further, the Minister of Tourism Development and Christian Religious Affairs, John Amarathunga, elaborated on the concessions granted to the tourism industry by the Finance Minister through the 2018 budget.
Having recognized the potential in the tourism industry, the finance minister, in his budget proposals, he made a couple of recommendations, mainly in the issuance of the liquor licenses to hotels, and also made it more convenient for even for the smaller hoteliers, like the in the informal sector and the homestays, also to obtain licenses in order to serve soft liquor to the foreigners who are in occupation of their premises. Then, of course, there are the development of certain tourism centers. Now, touristic centers are there in this country, right around the country. At the same time, he has made some allocations in order to develop additional centers in order to attract tourism. Also, promotion for water sports and the sky sports, there are a lot of duty concessions given for the equipment that is required for that industry. Development of the railway stations, refurbishing of railway station facilities for the tourists, which is very important at the moment. These stations are in very poor condition. Ministers identified certain stations to which additional funds will be given in order to lift the standard and the conditions of those stations. It's very important because today we find there are many tourists who are taking train rides. And the other important thing is the creation of more domestic airports, which is very important. Tourists who come to Sri Lanka do not want to waste time on the road. They try to get to their destination as early as possible. So for that, air transportation plays a vital role. To now, though there are some mode of transport through the Air Force, still the government wants to open it out for competition with other domestic airlines, and for that number of domestic airports are to be developed. Already Batiklo is developed and be ready. Try to do one in Jaffna, Trincomalee, then in Galle and in the hill country. The more important thing is the refund of the VAT. If, for example, if you see in Singapore, all whatever you buy at the time of your departure in the airport, you produce the receipts and the passport, you get a refund of that. So a similar procedure the minister has recommended, where any foreigner who comes to Sri Lanka make purchases of items of a particular value, they will be entitled to a refund at the time of departure at the airport. So similarly, there are quite a lot of encouraging proposals by the finance minister in order to develop this sector, because he realizes that the tourism is an industry that can bring in a lot of foreign exchange to the country.
Let's take a look at more news after this break. Welcome back. The Government Medical Officers Association, in a media conference in Colombo today, urged the relevant authorities to provide a proper solution to solve the item issue.
Government on October 29th, through a press release by the Information Director General Information, has clearly stated that they are going to abolish item. But in the meantime, the government and the press release suggested a new entity or a new mechanism once this item is abolished to form a new entity which is a non-state, which means a private and a not-for-profit organization. GMO has studied this proposal, and we have made representations to His Excellency the President and also the President of this, Chairman of this Presidential Committee, Dr. Harsha Silva, and we have stated that these are two separate issues. First, the outcome to the students who have passed out from this item and who are inside this item, that is agreeable to all, and that should be a degree which is acceptable to all parties, including the Sri Lanka Medical Council. And the other problem which arises is what will happen to the institutions or the item institution. That should be discussed separately, because there are so many controversies behind this whole issue. Therefore, we urge the government and the chairman of the committee to consider this as two separate issues and discuss these in two separate forums, so that the issue can be settled and this item should be abolished with the understanding of all parties.
The Imani Awards 2017, organised by the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka in collaboration with the Ministry of Telecommunications and Digital Infrastructure, was held in Colombo recently. The ceremony was graced by Minister of Telecommunication and Digital Infrastructure Harin Fernando and a distinguished gathering including senior government officials, industry leaders, private sector representatives, digital entrepreneurs and the media. Established as the most prestigious national event in the industry, the Imani Awards honors outstanding digital social innovators who have impacted society using digital technology. Organised for the 7th consecutive year, the event attracted more than 200 submissions this year. 43 nominees in 9 categories including government and citizens engagement, health and well-being, learning and education, environment and green energy, culture and tourism, smart settlement and urbanization, business and commerce, inclusion and empowerment and digital entertainment were recognized as winners, merit awardees or received certificates of appreciation. The award recipients were selected by the Imani Grand Jury, which comprised of experts from various fields. Initiated in 2009, the Imani follows the footsteps of the World Summit Award, an UN-led initiative which started in 2005. Let's take a look at stocks after this break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped by 5.93 points to close at 6,405.91, and the S&P SL 20 dropped by 4.12 points to close the session at 3,720.84. The turnover was 716.7 million rupees and 11.8 million shares were traded. Up next is Forex rates. With that, we are wrapping up State of Business for the day. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time with more latest news. Until then, take care. Good night.